What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Average Joe Rating Climb. Hopefully we'll cross 1900 today, and I do want to say thank you to everybody who gave me advice on the camera settings. If you're wondering what the problem was, it was actually inside of OBS Studio. There was a setting that I needed to change, and it was making it, squished and everything. So thank you guys. It was indeed an aspect ratio. It just wasn't on the camera. It was in OBS. All right, so I'm going to attack the pawn, and he plays what's called the Elephant Gambit. Very tricky opening, actually, if you don't know what you're doing. And I believe the best way to do this is take and then play queen e2. So let me just think about that. Yeah, because if you take here, takes bishop c4, there's some crazy lines after queen g5, and you can easily get into trouble. So I'm going to take with the pawn this way. This is a fun opening, though. I used to play this as black from time to time. I actually have some videos on the channel. If you look up Elephant Gambit Wasp variation, you'll see it's a lot of fun. And okay, he takes with the queen, which is going to allow me to gain a tempo. And one of the drawbacks to bringing out the queen early, right, is that you're going to lose a tempo. So I'm always going to pretty much do that. So now we have some kind of a weird, it's almost like a Scandinavian where I played knight c3, they moved the queen, and then they played e5, which I'm not sure if that's a good version or not for black. I think we can just play like bishop c4. And black has to be really careful about the weak spot here, because we're going to castle quickly. We're going to get our rook to the center. And yeah, I mean, black's got to be super careful. I mean, just look at the development, right? I have 3 pieces and black has 0. Unless you consider the queen, which I don't really consider that a developing move. So let's see. I mean, you can always play openings like this, but you really have to either know what you're doing or be really, really good at tactics. Otherwise, you're probably just going to get into trouble, right? That's usually what happens. I mean, if you watch Stockfish enough, you'll know it plays like this sometimes, but I don't recommend it for most people. Oh my. And we have another non-developing move. This cannot be right. Cannot be right. So I'm going to castle. And I'm immediately threatening to take the pawn. Right? Because if the queen takes, guess what? Rook e1, we pin it. And wow. This has got to be a mistake, right? It's got to be. So if I take, they take, I take, they take, I take. If I take first and sack the queen, no, it's probably not good enough. Wow, this just looks so awful for black. That like there must be some way to. I mean, I can go here and play knight g5, but the problem is we end up losing 2 pieces and we only get 1 piece. Now, the king is very weak, but I don't know that I want to give up this bishop without a clear follow-up. So maybe I just play rook e1 here. Yeah, rook e1 probably isn't bad. Let's play rook e1. Just keep piling on the pressure. And then, basically, you always want to be scanning for tactics. So that's what I was just doing. I was looking for the tactics. Does this work? What if I sack my queen? What if I go knight g5? Like all these things. And if they don't work, you just bring in more pieces, right? And now we check again. We look for tactics again. So again, I'm going to start with like this move. If I take here, if the knight takes me, I win the piece and I'm happy. This is pinned. So let's just start with the obvious. They take my queen. Then I take here with a check and I'm winning their queen. So I'm actually getting a queen, a knight, and a pawn, and I'm only losing a queen. Okay? So that definitely, my queen is safe. If they do anything else, I mean, what else could they do? I'm just going to be taking their bishop or taking their knight. And like I said, if they take me, I take them. I won a pawn and I have a great position. So I think that's just a winning move. And it goes to show the dangers of not developing quickly enough. So here we go. But you have to find these tactics, right? Because if you don't find the tactics at the critical moments like this, a couple moves later, their position's just fine, right? So it's very important that you find those tactics, okay? He takes back, and we're going to grab the bishop. Notice it is pinned, okay? That's why I can get away with this, right? So we essentially won a pawn, but it's more than just winning a pawn. We now have this nasty pin, and black can't castle to get away from it, right? Okay, so they try to attack. Let's think about how we can make the most of this. Of course, we have to save our queen. So that's a no-brainer, I think. I mean, I say that. There's this move bishop b5 check. What's the idea? Well, if black tries to play like c6, we grab the knight. What I'm concerned about is that they're going to take me. I take them. Then they take my queen. Then I go here, get a rook. We lose a bishop, but we get a rook. But our knight is stuck in the corner. Okay, this needs to be calculated a little bit more accurately. So bishop b5, queen takes, right? The idea that black has is they're just going to sack their queen because they know they're going to be able to take my queen. Sorry, this way. So here, 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 here. So at that moment, we're down a piece. However, we have a fork. King goes to d7. We get the rook. But now it's black's turn. Black, let's just say, plays a move like bishop d6. Now my knight is going to get captured by the rook. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And we don't have to do that. We think we have a better move. So let me just think, what's the better move here? I'm wondering if I can go, let's just say queen f5 to attack the knight. They're going to play bishop d6, but then we just play like d4 and we take it. Pretty simple stuff, I think. Queen f5 should do the trick. You have to be careful putting your queen here, because look at this. The queen is lined up. If they could play knight f3 check, no, even then I would be fine, but you have to watch out. But it's pinned. It's pinned. There's nothing they can do. Except bishop d6. And then d4 just wins the piece. Okay? So, queen f5, unless I'm missing something, should be the move. And it's very simple plan. Next move, we play d4. We take their knight. This is why, you know, this is so dangerous to have your king in the center when your opponent has a rook that can just come over and pin you like this, right? Okay, they try to defend. And like I said, we play d4. It also lets out my bishop, which is great. Let's make sure there's nothing I'm missing. That the knight is pinned, so there's not really much to even worry about. You just go and take it. And it's even going to be worse because there's going to be like a fork as well. And yeah, it's just awful. And I mean, like 5 moves in a row, black didn't develop a piece, right? You just can't do that. You just can't do that and expect it to end well. Unless you're Stockfish. That's a different story. Stockfish can do whatever they want. Whatever it wants. But like I said, the key takeaway though is that when your opponent is slow, you recognize it and you're ready with the tactics, right? Because if I didn't see this tactic where I could go with the follow-up check and then take the queen, maybe I wouldn't have played this. And if I play a different move, like let's just say d3, and black is able to all of a sudden castle, and now the rook's involved, their king's out of the center, my advantage could just disappear. So it's really important that you're scanning for those tactics. All right, so they finally get the king out of the center, but it's too late. We're going to grab the knight, and we are just up. What are we up? A piece and a pawn? 3-6, 3. Yeah, we're up a piece and a pawn, and we have this fork. Now it's pinned temporarily. Okay, so I can't take it immediately, but maybe something like bishop d3 to defend my queen, set up a checkmate, and we are threatening to take a piece. I mean, it's a nasty position to be in if you're black here. There's even like bishop takes h6 to lure the pawn away so we can take the knight. Yeah, I mean, knight e4. Well, knight e4 would blunder the rook. Maybe bishop d2, then knight e4. Okay, plays bishop c5. It almost looks like a tactic, right? If we take, oh no, check, my queen's going to get captured. However, we just take with the queen, and we save the queen, and we get out of the check, and we're fine. So I'll go ahead and take it. Not a problem. Maybe black was expecting the king to capture, in which case we would lose our queen. But it's important to pay attention to those little details. And now we're up 2 pieces. Okay. Do I have a tactic here, guys? Let's just check this move. Bishop take, because if the rook can't take, because then we come down with our rook, which means the king has to take, right? But if the king has to take, then I'm able to take here with the check. The king moves. Let's just say we sack the bishop. The king moves here. I'm sacking too many pieces, I guess. But I don't think we'll do that. What I could probably do, though, is bishop takes h6. What's the point? If the pawn takes, we go check and then mate. Okay? So, yes. Also, it defends here with my other rook, which is kind of an important detail, right? There might be other ways to win this position, but this just seems like the best. Let's just make sure that the discovered check has not changed. That's still there for us. No problem. So, yeah, bishop takes h6 is probably going to be the best move, or at least a very good move in this position. Okay, so let's go ahead and sack it. Sack the bishop, defend the rook, threaten the checkmate if they take us. I mean, if they don't take us, we also have some serious things happening. So it's just a bad situation to be in. Let's pre-move this recapture. Why not? Of course, we have to take that if they take us. Oh, this game will actually put us right at 1900. So, cool. It would be a miracle if we don't if you don't win this game at this point. It's kind of crazy to me, to be honest with you guys, the level of, and I don't mean to disrespect this person at all, but we've seen some 1900s play some incredibly good games. Like, they play really, really well. And then, like, this person, I don't know, it feels like we're playing like 1200 here, you know, like, yeah, I don't understand. There's such a massive amount of inconsistency, I feel like, at 1800. It's pretty wild. And of course, everybody has bad games, so I don't mean to, you know, talk down about my opponent. It's just surprising to me, right? The difference of skill level sometimes. And I think a lot of it too has to do with like the openings. People at this level, if they play an opening that they're familiar with, they know exactly what to do. They can play really good games. And if you kind of take them out of their comfort zone, maybe they just get confused. That could be what's going on. All right, let's check the result here. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. All right. All right. It's just such a nice number. It's got the 0.0 on the end, even. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I guess it makes sense. It wasn't a long game, and it was relatively straightforward, like what we needed to do. But 14 moves. Yeah, it's still pretty fun. Okay, so I knew that taking was the best move. This is pretty obvious. You want to attack the queen, right? This, I think, is also pretty obvious. You want to develop in castle, and this is clearly the best place for the bishop because it attacks the weak spot. So that was pretty straightforward. Here again, like, all the moves were relatively straightforward. We want a castle. We want to attack on the center. This probably some people could have missed, so you have to make sure you're paying attention to those sneaky tactics. That was the brilliant move. And then right here, I guess queen f5 maybe could have been a tricky move to find, but really it wasn't that bad. d4 was obvious. Taking was obvious. I think taking was obvious. Yeah, most of it was pretty obvious. Maybe bishop takes h6 was a little bit hard to find, but okay. 1900. Let's go. Let's go. Average Joe. Moving on up. Let's see. Oh, should we play the Elephant Gambit? Let's see if we'll try to play it against this person. See what they do. Let's see if they take us. Oh, okay. They take here. So this is where we might be able to play the wasp. So we take the pawn, and you're cutting off the knight's retreat squares. Most people are going to go bishop c4 here. Oh, f3. I was really hoping I was going to get to show you guys this. That makes me sad. That move makes me sad. All right. On bishop c4, we were going to go queen g5, and it was going to get pretty wild, but the wasp is very, very good. Okay, f3. Well, of course, I'm noticing this diagonal, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that. And I might play bishop d6 right now, actually, as a way to potentially set up a little trick, okay? The other thing sometimes you can do is play queen d4. And the knight is sort of stranded. Let's see. No. You could go here. It's just kind of awkward. You could go here, also kind of awkward for the knight. If they try to play f4, we could follow up with bishop c5, threatening the checkmate. I assume they would play queen e2. So this is not bad. Queen d4 is not a bad try. Bishop d6, let's say they play d4, most likely move. We could en passant, they have to take back with the knight, I think. And then we would hit him with queen h4 check. That's what I'm talking about, right? Takes, and we have the tactic, okay? So I think bishop d6, let's see, what else could they play? They could play f4, I guess. If they played f4, what would we do? Oh, there's also f6, which I'm just now thinking about. f6 just immediately attacks. Okay, wait a second. f6. No. You have to go here or here. Yeah, f6 just feels wrong, blocking the queen like that. No, I think it's definitely got to be queen d4 or bishop d6. The question is which one? Question is which one? Queen d4, knight g4, bishop c5, queen e2. I think bishop d6 is a little bit trickier for white to deal with. So let's play bishop d6. Because the point is, when you open up this diagonal on your king, this is what you have to remember, guys. There's always going to be a potential check. Now, the check is usually not dangerous if you can play g3. But if I have a piece that can take that, now it's really dangerous, right? Because you can't ever take back because you lose your rook. That's the issue, okay? So that's what I'm trying to set up. So white is trying to stop that. The problem is when I en passant, they have to save their knight, and guess what? Here it is. Now, I'm just noticing there is knight f2. But even that, I don't know. It just feels like it's not going to be good for white. So let's go ahead with the check. I guess they might try knight f2 here because g3, we just take it. The thing about knight f2... Well, there's a couple things. Number one... Yeah, actually, I was going to say maybe I can attack it. Oh, no, they don't even see it. They go king d3. Oh, this is awful. This is not what you want if you're playing as the white pieces. Okay. So, the question for us is how do we best take advantage of this? Rooks to the center is going to be the best way, okay? I mean, there's some random check, but I think they just move. Doesn't really do anything. So knight f6 and castles is one option. I really would love to castle queenside because then we get the rook immediately lined up on these guys. It's going to require two developing moves. So I'm thinking we start with knight c6. Then we go like, let's just say bishop e6 and castles. That seems pretty smart. I mean, white might try to throw in a check. I don't really care. Bishop e6 would be fine. Yeah, I think we go knight c6. So if they check us... Oh, there's queen e1. I messed up. I messed up big time, guys. Okay, why did I mess up so badly? Because you don't want to allow them to trade queens when their king is like this. Because as soon as queens get traded, guess what? You're not going to be able to checkmate the king as easily. And I should have... All I had to do, guys, all I had to do was play bishop e6 first. That's it. Play bishop e6 first. There is no queen trade. I totally... This move was not on my radar until after I moved. That was a big mistake because now I'm going to still try to keep queens on the board, but I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to try, but I think they're going to trade. And now it's our advantage goes away significantly. We'll check it after the game, but you're going to see I probably had a really nice, maybe 2 or 3 point advantage. Oh, wow. That would have disappeared if they traded queens. They didn't trade queens. This is great for me. allowing me to keep the queens on the board. Because the king is in trouble. As long as we have queens on the board, the king is... So white should have taken that. And this was a bad decision to do this. So now I'm going to castle. And I'm going to get the rook involved. And now it's very dangerous. Take back here with the queen. And the reason we're taking with the queen... Okay. Is I was going to say to set up the battery and also clear the way for this rook to come to here. All right. So he swapped his king and his queen. But he can't castle, which is the big deal, right? If you could just castle and get away from this, white's position would be fine. But they can't. So I need to just attack, basically. Just attack. Knight b4. I think we just want to bring more pieces. So probably just knight f6. Because it's important for this rook to come over. So we'll just go knight f6. Okay, they take there. That's fine. Actually, now I could really take either way. I'll take with the queen. Again, opens up for the rook here. Also, this is pinned. So there's no options for white to play bishop f4. We just take it. Okay, queen g3. So like I said, I don't really want to trade queens. Just a question of where do I move my queen to. d5 or d4, d7. He's going to take a pawn. I'm totally fine sacking that pawn. I just need to make sure I have a nice follow-up attacking move. So let's see, what would that be? Queen d4. Then I could play rook g8. Okay, let's go queen d4. I want my knight to be protected when if this happens, okay? So that I can play rook g8 quickly and gain a tempo. Force the queen to move and just keep the pressure with all the open files. And okay, he doesn't take it. He goes bishop d2. Okay, I'm thinking we go knight to d5 here and potentially jump in. Yeah, so knight d5 looks good. It defends my pawn. It stops bishop c3. It threatens knight e3. It does a lot of cool things. And remember, this is not an option for white, so that we know the king is going to be here. We know it's going to be there. I mean, unless they just move, but that's also bad because the rook is stuck in the corner if you do that. Yeah, okay, that's what they're going to do. All right, so yeah, I think we just maybe bring the other rook over. Get everybody in position. And again, it's the same concept as before, right? You set up all your pieces. You know you have a good position because your opponent's king is stuck. The rook is out of the game and can't really come in. But you still have to be scanning and looking for those tactics. Because if you don't find a tactic and you just trade all the pieces going to an endgame, it's equal. 3 against 3 and 3 against 3, right? It's just equal if that happens. So let's slowly but surely kind of build up for a tactic here. So let's play bishop f5. What am I doing? I'm opening up the rook, okay? And I'm putting pressure on white's pieces. Now, I'm not going to take this right now because it looks like it just frees up their position. I'm just getting ready. And sometimes you just have to be patient. You just gradually, slowly build up until you're ready. Okay, queen f2. So see, now I think I might jump in here. And look at this. I'm starting to set up a tactic, right? Now there's a tactic on knight takes c2. Okay, if they take me, bam. They take, bam. If they take this way, we don't want to trade queens. Remember, we want to keep the queens on the board, so I'm taking with the rook. But again, I'm really starting to build up the tactics and put the pressure on white's position. And the reason their position is so bad is because the rooks are not in the game, and my rooks are, right? So this might be a moment where we could look for a tactic. Let's see. Rook takes d3. I should have had you guys pause. Sorry. Rook takes d3 is a really nice tactic you want to be aware of. A piece is defended. We can remove the defender, also create an attack on their queen. They don't have time to take us because we take their queen. You guys see how that works? This is the tactic that I've been waiting for, okay? Let's just verify that it works. Bishop takes, bishop takes here, check, we move. Rook, knight, rook, yeah, we're going to be up a queen for rook. Yeah, this is it's a complicated one if you haven't seen it, but once you've seen it, it's actually really straightforward. They just don't have time for this because we're also creating an attack on their queen. And this little detail, this is what people miss, is that when they trade queens, we don't take back with these. We take back with the rook that's under fire and we save it. Okay, so that's yeah, it's more of an advanced one, but definitely once you understand it, you should be capable. Okay, so they just saved their queen, but this looks like another tactic probably to win the bishop. A fork. Check. There's probably a lot of ways to do this, but no, this just looks like the easiest. So it's just a simple fork, and we're going to take the bishop. Let's see. Do I want to take the bishop, or do I want to just go here and attack like this? If I take the bishop, they take me. Check. Yeah, it's definitely going to lead to a mate somehow. So I'll take the bishop. We could also take with the queen. Let's see. If we take with the bishop, king goes here. Check. King goes back. Where's the checkmate? Okay, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Well, we might have a cool... Oh, hold up. If I sack the queen, and then play, let's just say, rook d2... Well, we might have a cool checkmate. Oh, no, but they're going to be able to block with the rook. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Almost. Actually, wait, would they? Check here. Yeah, it doesn't quite work. Okay, I wanted to sack the queen, but we don't have to. We could just do this. This is the easy thing. This is the easy thing. I was just looking for something fancy. It's okay. Minute and a half. Probably should end the game, though, so let's go ahead and finish it off. Obviously, white's position is falling apart. We're up 2 pieces. And on top of that, their king is just a mess, about to get checkmated. Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can find the mate here. Check. You have to go this way. Check. Mate. Okay, so there you go. Probably more mates there that I'm not maybe seeing, but this one looks like the most forcing. Check and mate. Okay, they do resign. All right, we had a brilliant move here too. Let's see what that was. So we got him with the elephant gambit. Looked like they were a bit confused and didn't know really how to respond to it. I was hoping that I was going to get to show you guys the wasp. So bishop c4, I'll just show you very quickly here. You bring out the queen, and it looks like, wait a second, you're getting forked. You're letting them fork you, right? But if they do that, that's exactly what you want. You come in, hit the rook. They try to save it. You come out. The queen is basically trapped. They go back to e2. But now you just take it. And then you take their knight. And you're just up a piece. And it looks maybe a little scary. They can put you in check. But you just move your king. It's not a big deal. If they take here, what's the move? Just knight d7. Yeah, they take here. You just put your rook on b8. You're fine. Lots of fun. The best move for white is actually to play bishop takes. And it's still very tricky. I don't remember which move I recommend here. I think king e7, and then they go back, or d4. I don't know. It gets kind of wild, but it's a lot of fun. Anyway, f3, not a good move. Let's see. Stockfish says bishop d6 was the way to go. Okay. And then here, they could have played knight f2, which would have been a better try. Still, I probably would have continued just developing, castling. We have a nice position. This is a very awkwardly placed knight. Okay. But they didn't see that, and instead played king d2. Okay. Not as big of an advantage as I thought, minus 1.4. I thought it was going to be bigger than that. But Stockfish does agree with me that bishop e6 is the best move, and it's because of what we talked about. They don't want to allow a queen trade when white's king is in such a bad situation, okay? So I missed that. I messed up there with knight c6. Yeah, and I did lose some of my advantage. You can see that, right? Queen e7. And then they didn't take. Look at best move according to Stockfish. Trade the queens. You go into an endgame, you have 6 against 6. And white's just fine, basically. I mean, it's a slight advantage for me, but nothing big. Leaving the queens on, big mistake. And then, I mean, I think it was relatively straightforward from here. Just kind of kept bringing the pieces over. Keep looking for those tactics. And then when they show up, you got to be ready to pounce, right? Like right here. Rook takes d3. I think a lot of people would miss this in a game. So, oh, that was the brilliant move. Yeah. Okay. All right, let me go to the next game here, guys. Alrighty. Let's try that again. That was kind of fun. Let's see if we can play another elephant gambit. Ah, okay. So against the king's gambit, I recommend you just play d5 anyway. Falkbeer Countergambit is what it's called. And Against this, you have two options, e4 and c6. Been a while since I've looked at the theory. I think c6 is a very tricky line, so we'll play this one. It's a pawn sacrifice, but you're just going to get quick development if they take it. Yep. They can't take you. Okay, they can basically when you play this, they can never take you here. I mean, I say never. They can't take you earlier, because if they take you earlier, you have queen h4. And when they play g3, you get a fork and you win their rook. Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to push or take this pawn. Or do something else, like bishop g4 might be a move. Yeah, I'm really out of my book here. I could even just play like bishop c5, just kind of sack the pawn, and then just go for the... I like that, actually. I like that. Let's play bishop c5, because we still have the same deal happening here. If the knight takes, we can trade. Goes for bishop b5. Okay. So maybe now we push, although the knight jumps to e5. Yeah, this is getting kind of wild. Well, let me see. What happens if I play something crazy like bishop d7? Takes. If the knight takes, what is going on here? Bishop takes g2 actually traps the rook. Queen h5 tries to checkmate me. But I could probably just defend with queen e7, let's just say. Okay, that doesn't actually look as crazy as I thought it was going to. And if you take with the pawn, then I can take. Actually, take. What do I do? Maybe that's not good for me. Okay, I don't want to overthink this, so probably need to make a move here. It's just such a tricky position. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Could even play something crazy like knight e7 and castle. That might not be so wild. Okay, I like that actually. Because as soon as I castle and then I keep this defended. Okay, I like it. Let's go knight e7. What I'm trying to do, guys, is get as many pieces out as quickly as I can, keeping the files on the diagonals open so that I can attack this king. Okay, because white's king is kind of in a bad way. If you play the king's gambit, but your opponent ends up with the bishop on this diagonal, you can't castle. And unless you can play d4, you're probably going to have some problems. So that's kind of what I'm counting on. Okay, so I'm just trying to get my king out of here as quick as possible. Now there's no more pins. Now my rook is ready to go. And then we kind of look for an opportunity to jump on our opponent. All right. So they take. So this is probably a tactical moment. So this is where we need to be really careful. If we sack and they take, what happens after, let's just say, queen d4? We're attacking the knight. We're threatening checkmate. Well, if they go knight d3, that would defend the checkmate. However, don't know if that's such a great position for them. Let's see, bishop g4. It looks like they're just getting all pinned and have to play something like knight e2, and I could just keep attacking. I think that's great for me. So takes there. I'd be happy with that position, I think. Okay. What if they go, let's just say queen e2 instead? So takes, queen d4, queen e2 is what we're looking at, guys. Queen e2 looks like a much better move. It defends. Yeah, I don't think I have as good of a move. Okay, so no, I don't love that so much. All right, what if I go bishop g4 first to pin the knight? That looks good. Yes, let's do that. Oh! Wow. They didn't take it? They didn't take it? Why didn't they take it? Why didn't they take it? They're worried about some crazy queen h4 and they don't have g3 to block or something? They thought it was a sacrifice? Okay. I wasted a move, but I got a gift. All right, I gotta get. I don't think I had anything there, guys. Uh, oh my, that my mouse just went flying across the board there and just kept on going. Wow, wow. Well, now I'm happy because the queen e2 doesn't change a whole lot. Actually, if anything, actually it gives me okay. They do get to go to here, so it did help white a little bit, I guess you could say. But let's see what we can do here. I mean, if I take it and they take with the queen, I'm happy with knight d4, I think. They're probably going to take with a pawn. Could also just go back to f5, actually. And then maybe take here. Okay, let's try that. Let's go back to f5. I like this, I think. Although, are they going to get to play d... Hold on. Hold on. If they get d4... So takes d4... No, wait, they can't play d4. I have 3 pieces. What am I saying? They can't play d4, right? Just take it. Yeah, I just take it. So they can't play d4. They might be trying to check, maybe no, but I still have my bishop. I'm not seeing it. I'm going to take the pawn. I don't see what their threat is, so I'm just going to take the pawn. Oh, they just want to trade queens? Is that what they're trying to do? Okay, I think I would be okay with a queen trade here. 3, 4, 5. So we're down a pawn, but if we get this, we have so much activity, guys. Yeah, this will be instructive too. I'll show you this. So it looks like, oh no, I'm down a pawn and I'm going into an endgame. But actually, look at my pieces. Pretty good bishop. It's controlling a lot of the board. Amazing bishop. Look at this diagonal, stopping the castling, controlling d4. Look at this knight, putting pressure, getting ready to jump in. Look at this rook. Amazing. Like almost all of my pieces. This one's about to be amazing too. And white's pieces are like ugly, ugly, ugly. Okay? Only the knights are really doing anything. So just because we traded queens doesn't mean that like, oh, I'm going to lose the game or anything. Like, no, this is a great position for me. This is a great position for me. I'm going to just keep bringing in the troops. So let's go here. And now we've got both rooks lined up. We've got the bishops. We've got the knight. This is the dream, right? This is the dream. I would sack like 2 or 3 pawns to have this position. And we only are down 1 pawn. We're going to get it back. Yeah, here we go. We get it back right now. You just take it. Yep, we just take it. And we just take back. And now the rooks come in and white's going to get checkmated or something. Now, we have a good move here, I think. What do you guys think it is? Well, if you said take here, I think you're wrong, because then I think white castles. Yes, we can get a pawn, but then we're in an opposite color bishop ending, just up a pawn. Not good enough. What we can do instead is take here. And now I think we really put the pressure on white, because we're threatening to... Oh, actually... No, yeah, this still looks good. So we're going to get our knight back eventually, because if white tries to save it, we have a tactic here. That's one piece of the puzzle, okay? We get the rook. If they don't block and they do something else, then we've stopped them from castling, which is great. Why is that great? Because then the rook is stuck behind the king. If you have to play like king f1, that's great. And if they go this way, they've walked into a pin, which means we're also going to get our piece back. And the king is in a weak spot now because we can just harass it with our rooks. Okay? So this little in-between move, and they do go king d2. Yeah, is a great move. Now, we can take here. They take, check. They are going to get away. See that? They're going to get away. Even up here, probably just get away. So we have to save our bishop. The question is where? I want to make sure that they don't save their knight. Actually, that would be a bad thing. So let's just make sure we consider king c3. So let's say I go to g6 and they go king c3. How do I make sure that I get that knight? Check. Oh, can they really do this? Whoa, whoa, whoa. King b4? I wonder if I messed up. No, there's got to be a way. Hold on. There's got to be a way to get the knight, right? I could also go to e4 to threaten the pawn. So bishop b4, king c3, rook here, king here. Wow, that's amazing if I can't get that knight. Okay, we might have to sack it and keep attacking. Yeah, I'm gonna go bishop e4. I'm gonna need to move faster. I didn't consider this idea. So because if we're not able to get the knight, now we're just down a piece. That's not acceptable. I'm gonna go here. He's gonna go king b4. Yeah, we might have to sack it, guys, unfortunately. Question is, what's the best way? Is it b6? I'm thinking it's b6. Because we want to go a5. There's also rook here. I mean, we could sack this, but no, then we're going into an endgame where we... Man, I can't believe this happened, guys. All right, I'm going to play b6, and I got to move faster. I'm going to lose on time. So I'm just trying to... It almost looks like we might be able to get like a checkmate if we are smart about how we do this. It really does. Check. King's going to go there, I think. b5. Is this a checkmate? Hold up, guys. He's going to go to a3. Here, there's b3. We can't allow that, I don't think. But what we could do is play b5. And now if you play b3, we might be able to cut off the king. Oh, wait a second. Check. Here, check. Oh. Oh, guys, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. You see it, right? Do you guys see it? Tell me if you see it. Pause the video. Now's a good time. Pause the video. Calculate. You got two lines to look at. And they're both actually pretty simple. Here? Checkmate. Oh, he resigned. Come on. Come on. Why? I'll show you guys. Show you the end. Ooh. Whoa. Okay, so we had a 100 accuracy and an under 70. Okay. Yeah, bishop c5 apparently is just not the move. You're supposed to play e4. Okay. e4 or takes. The reason this is bad is because they can take you. And I guess you don't have any tactics. I thought there was going to be some tactic here, but apparently this is just... Oh, it loses to queen e2. Okay. So you got to be careful because I apparently... I said they couldn't take this, but once the knight's on f3, they can, right? So anyway, I don't want to get bogged down in this opening. There's just a lot of theory. Yeah, there was the blunder. Bishop g4 would have been a very good move. Blundered it. White needed to take it, and they didn't for some reason. Now I'm right back in the game. So we got lucky with the mouse slip. Bishop f5 was good. This was good. This was great. So look at this, guys. We're down a pawn. Queens are off the board, and Stockfish says we're winning. Minus 2.7. That's like being up a piece almost, right? Knights and bishops are worth roughly 3 points. Stockfish says you're minus 2.7. Like being up a piece, even though we're actually down a pawn. That's how much it values all of the activity of the pieces, okay? So the knight jumps in. Oh, bishop d3, yeah, would have been a great move. And now, okay, this is important. I think we should talk about this. Why is bishop d3 such a great move here? Why? It's not just because it attacks the knight. I mean, they could just move the knight. But why is having the bishop here such a great position? It's for two reasons. Number one, you are preventing white from castling, which is a big deal. Because if they castle, the rook is now in the game. If they don't castle, the rook never gets in the game. That's the first thing. The second thing, this bishop is blocked by this pawn, which is blocked by your bishop. So you are essentially keeping this bishop trapped. Now, yes, they can play b3 and put it here. That's generally not the best place for the bishop, and it takes a while and it's kind of awkward. So those two things combined, you're essentially shutting in two pieces with one simple move. Okay, that's why Stockfish said bishop d3 was such a great move. I was focused on getting this rook into the game, which is okay, but not as good. And then here I missed a tactic, apparently. Knight takes e5. And the point is that if they take your knight, then you have the rook d1 check winning the rook. Okay, so they can't take that. And if they take the bishop, same thing probably. You have rook d1. And if they take you here, wow, it really just wants to sack this and then come down here and get the rook. And you're just winning. This is pinned, so they can't even get out. It's just an awful position for white. So, okay. So I missed a few things there, but still had a pretty nice position. Now, yes, it did. So like I said in the video, if this would have happened, it's slight advantage for me, but hardly anything. Because of the opposite color bishop, white would have had a good chance to draw this game. Okay. So this was good, except I did miss this idea of king d2 and running over here. Turns out to be a bad idea. Oh, wow. Bishop e4 was a mistake. I needed to go to g6. I wonder why. What is the idea here? King c3, rook c5, king b4. Wow. It's because rook d1, bishop e3. So white just needed to develop pieces and they would have been fine. Instead, they just moved the knight, which allows the check, allows b5. So it's not mate. White could have still survived with bishop d2. But it's pretty awful. Rook d3. Yeah, this is pretty awful. So, wow. All right, let's just show you the end really quickly here. They walked into it. Check. It's beautiful because if you go here, there's a checkmate with the bishop, which is really nice. And if you go here, initially I was thinking I was going to have a windmill, which I would, except it's even better. It's just a checkmate. But windmill is when they are forced to move back and forth, and you can just keep taking things. So initially I was thinking I could take this and then move back and then take this and then move back and just keep taking, but it's actually just checkmate. Sometimes it works out differently where like the king can still escape and then you have to go back and forth and you just take all their pieces. It's called a windmill tactic. But anyway, all right, I'm rambling too much. Let's go to the next game. Hopefully that was still helpful and you learned something. 1997. So we're playing a almost 2,000 rated player here. Plays the Sicilian. Let me play. I'll play my knight f3, bishop b5 lines here. Show you guys how to play this. So I always go with a check when they play d6. And if they play bishop, usually you just trade the bishops. If they play knight, you want to play d4. Okay. And if they play knight c6, usually it's going to be c3 and castles. I actually played this line against Eric Rosen just recently. If you haven't seen that live stream, you should definitely check it out. But he played this line. Rook e1, c3, d4 is basically what you do. You could sacrifice a pawn. Maybe we'll see that. Let's see what our opponent's going to do. Okay, he plays bishop g4. That's not the move that I'm used to seeing. I don't know if it changes our plan too much. I still think we can play c3 and get ready to play d4. A lot of people will play bishop d7 there and then force you to make the trade or retreat, and then they come out with their bishop. All right, let's play rook e1 to defend the pawn. Pretty common way. And then e5. Yeah, so usually when I see this, I'm playing d4 right away. Takes. Everything looks good. Even though I'm pinned here, he's pinned here. Okay. Yeah, the reason I'm pausing, guys, is because after all these trades happen, takes, and my queen has to leave, my king is going to be exposed. But I have an idea. Number one, it's not that big of a deal. I can always just tuck it in the corner, and I think we're fine. We can even use this to attack if we want. The other thing I was going to say is after the capture here, I don't even have to take that back immediately. I could play a move like knight d2 and get my queen out and take my time with it. Okay, what is happening here? This looks like maybe we win a pawn. Oh, they're going to throw in the trade first. Okay. So we're not going to win a pawn, but... Well, okay, if they take here, we win a pawn. We just trade and then we take the pawn. So they're going to take here first. I'm willing to bet. And then I'm going to recapture. We don't win a pawn, but I am happy that we've weakened their pawn structure. Okay, so oh no, they are going to sack the pawn. All right, I don't know why. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Nope, I think we just take it and take here, and we just get a free pawn. Yeah, so they kind of messed that one up a little bit, and now we're in good shape. But even if we didn't win the pawn, and they would have traded first, I was going to say they have isolated pawns compared to our connected pawns. These are much better. They can support each other. We can push forward together, and everybody's protected. You know, these are just weak. They're just easy to attack. I mean, look at this. I could just take another one, just like that. So I'm debating if I want to take it or keep developing. All right, well, let's just see. Where's the rook going to move? That's the first question. No, no. No, no. So you could go to D3, D6, or C8, probably. D3, I don't think I'm worried about that. D6, I don't think I'm worried about that. Probably just move. C8, just move. There might be some crazy tactic here, but then I take, they take, I move my bishop or play knight C3 or D2. Okay, I'm just not sure if it's the best. So rook C8 here, knight D4 takes. Kind of just want to develop instead. I don't know why, I just have a feeling I should just develop. Like bishop G5 or something. Yeah, I'm just going to develop. I don't like giving them that tactic where they go here, then they sack their knight. It just looks like black's getting some counterplay in that position. So I'd rather not let that happen. I'm very happy with my position right now. Up a pawn, they have weaknesses. I just want to finish my development, and then I think we can hunt these pawns later without any problem. Even now might be a good time. Takes, takes, takes. So we're going to have the two knights against the two bishops. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Let's take it and take it. It's a little bit risky because the bishops can be very dangerous, so we have to be careful, okay? We have to be extremely careful. But I'm getting a lot of pawns, and the black's pawn structure is just a mess, right? And I have all these pretty pawns. So if I can trade one of my knights for one of their bishops, that's going to be great because it's just going to simplify everything. And then it's much easier, guys, to work around one bishop than two bishops, right? Because one bishop can only cover half the board, right? Both bishops can cover everything. So there's no safe squares when you're playing against the bishop pair. If you're only playing against one bishop, it's like, okay, I put all my pieces on, you know, like let's just say the dark squares, they can't touch me, or vice versa, right? So let's go here. And like I said, I would love to take that. Even if it messes up, it fixes their pawns, fine. I just want to get rid of one of the bishops. They're not going to let me, which is probably smart. Let's go ahead and finish our development here. But I'm still going to be looking for the opportunity to trade a knight for a bishop, okay? It is an open board, so we have to be very, very careful. Like I said, the bishops are very dangerous on an open board. Good news is, though, I do have like a nice outpost here for my knight to potentially go on. Let's see, knight to d5. Can we sack that? Check. No, probably not. I mean, actually, I could sack it. The position would not be bad if we did. But don't really need to sack it, so I'll probably just defend it. I'll just defend. No big deal. Then maybe I'll get out of the pin, or maybe I'll play a3 to get out of the pin. Again, trading this would be great. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and force the issue here. Actually, I could also play rook d1. Rook d1's not bad either. Let's see, a3. Okay, let me play just rook d1. Yeah. I'll just get out of the pin that way, because now I'm threatening to just move my knight to like d5. I mean, a3 was probably fine too, but I don't know, it just feels nice getting the rooks here, I think, on the open files. I like that my king is safe right now from the bishops. There's no diagonals that are open to my king, so we don't have to worry about that. Black is still trying to get the other rook involved, so that gives me some time, and that's why I feel like I'm probably going to be able to force a trade here pretty soon, and that'll be great. We've got 4 against 3. Also have 2 against 1. Okay, so I didn't want to open up the diagonal on my king, but the gain of time on the bishop is very nice. And I can always tuck my king here or step to the side if I need to get away from this diagonal. So I think we're okay. Does knight d5 force a trade? Definitely forces a trade of at least rooks. Yeah, I think we should do knight d5. Actually, no, knight d5, bishop c5, b4 they're going to take here. Hold up. So we got to be a little careful. I could play g4. I think g4 is a useful move. Is it a useful move? Maybe not. Maybe I don't have to. Okay, let's go knight d5. And on bishop c5, I'll just probably move my king. Yeah, I'll probably just move my king to f1. Oh. Never mind. Well, this looks great because now the bishop's under attack. I'm threatening maybe to go here. I'm threatening to take this. My knights are actually looking better than the bishops somehow. This guy looks awful now. This one looks bad now. My pawns are doing a great job. So yeah, we're in good shape now. We are in good shape, my friends. Well, let's see. Where are they going to move to? Bishop d6. They even go knight f5. Back it, cut off the escape from the king. Uh-huh. Yep, let's do that. So this is actually checkmate now, because we've taken away the king's escape square. And this is a free bishop. I don't think black can stop both at the same time. So probably you're going to see a resignation here, I imagine. It's just too much. It's too much. They're trying to find a way out, but I don't think there is one. We've seen it a lot, right, in these games when the king doesn't get castled and the rook is stuck, things just never end well. You're just playing like down a rook. I mean, if you play a game down a rook, you're going to lose because a rook is a big deal. But if your rook is just sitting on the corner, you may as well be down a rook. It's not doing anything, right? And we've seen that a lot in some of these games. And so that's why it's so important that you really make sure you get your king castled early. And you could see why, right? You could just see why. Okay, so they choose to not get checkmated. I will go ahead and actually, I was going to say I'll trade first, but then they have bishop f8, check here. Check here. Check. Okay, that works. I had to make sure I had a response to bishop f8. But we've got the knight coming in. Okay, I could even go, wow, I could even go knight here immediately. Okay, wow, what is happening? Let's see. So we could trade and take the bishop. We could check and take the rook. Yeah, I guess a rook is better than a bishop, right? we still have this attacked. May as well just take this while I'm at it. Everything's just kind of falling apart here for black. I don't know if I played that the best way, but it doesn't really matter. There was a lot of winning lines there. Yeah, we could check and see what Stockfish says, but okay. All right, 89, not too bad. What was I gonna say? Was there anything I needed to say about this game? Let me see. Yeah, so here, I don't know why they didn't just take first, right? Because by going here, you allow this trade and I take. If you trade first, now you don't lose a pawn. But even this position is very good for me. These guys are weak. My pawns are not, right? You want to have less pawn islands, they're called. So like this is an island and this is an island. So I have 2 pawn islands. Black has 1, 2, 3 pawn islands. Okay, and so it's just very simple for me. I bring out my knight, I bring out my bishop somewhere, I put a rook here and here. This is an easy target. It's just very easy to play, right? I could even play b3, put my bishop here if I want instead. Jump my knight around somewhere, and the pawns are just very weak. So I was pretty happy with that regardless. Okay, and then, yeah, we just had to be careful with the bishops here, which I was. And then there was nothing that they could really do. All right, cool. Guys, thank you. Hope you learned something. I'll see you next time. And as always, stay sharp, play smart, and take care.